The first question you ask a producer is, what do you want of me? Do you want me to carry on in the vein that's been set? Or do you want to set off on a new course? The safe, the easy answer is to say, stick with it as it is. In which case, I guess I'd have said no.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. After Roger Moore finally bowed out of the role of James Bond, Pierce Brosnan was the man wanted to replace him, after his performance in Remington Steele gained him some appeal.
No more rhymes now, I mean it!
Unfortunately, the show was renewed for another season, and Brosnan was unable to get out of his contract. So Dalton, who had been considered for the role a few times before, became the main man to jump into the famous tux. And how did he fare? Well, cello-fondling babes and blonde killer milkmen, this is The Living Daylights. Released in June 1987, The Living Daylights sees Bond assigned to help former Soviet agent Koskov, played by Jeroen Krab, defect from the Soviet Union. He saves him from a female assassin, a term I use loosely, who turns out to be the cello player he saw earlier. He wings her and succeeds in sneaking Koskov to England.
How many times have you done this before?
You're the first.
And succeeds in sneaking Koskov to MI6. Koskov claims a general named Pushkin, played by John Rhys Davies, has reactivated a policy named Spionen.
Death to spies, Minister.
And later on, an assassin attacks Koskov's safe house and kidnaps him. M is sure it's Pushkin, so he orders Bond to find Pushkin and stop him and bring back Koskov. But Bond suspects Koskov is lying his ass off, so he tracks down the apparent assassin, who turns out to be Koskov's girlfriend named Kara. He befriends her in order to find out more information, but what else has Koskov been lying about, and what is his endgame? Ditching the camp wink to the camera that defined Roger Moore's tenure, especially shit like this.
Fuck.
The Living Daylights was back to a more grittier adventure, with Timothy Dalton determined to return Bond to what Fleming had envisioned.
He was a hero who murdered in cold blood. Bam, 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 bam. The dirtiest, toughest, meanest, nastiest, brutalist hero we'd ever seen. This is what started those movies.
Shocking.
I wanted to bring people back to believing in this character, to bring my reality to it. I guess I've always liked a challenge.
Dalton would constantly be seen reading the novels to help him get into character, and it paid off from the moment he's introduced. And it's a pretty fucking cool introduction as well. I mean, miles better than Roger Moore's, where he very sadly just appeared. You get exactly what his version is all about. This Bond is harder, meaner, colder, and there's no problem questioning his orders if he feels something is off. He will kill you if you try to cross him. And while I love the camp fun of Roger Moore's tenure as the debonair spy, it was good to see Dalton go out of his way to flesh the character out more. He doesn't convince as a ladies' man like Connery and Moore, or Brosnan. He does convince as a more romantic Bond, especially in the scenes with Kara. Even though he's using her to find out the truth of what's happening, they are both actually quite adorable together. Christ, look at these two. They both have great chemistry, and I really like Miriam Diabo as Kara. There's a real innocence to her that actually makes her endearing, and while she does do some stupid shit that almost gets Bond killed, she is likeable, and she does save his life a couple of times. Ow! Even when the fucking Afghans leave Bond behind, she goes off after him. She's willing to risk her life for this man. That woman has fucking balls. She may not be overtly sexy like Ursula Andress. She's just an ordinary woman caught in a dangerous spy game by her dickhead boyfriend. And speaking of which, Crab is so much fun to watch playing this absolute weasel. This man is such a shameless, two-faced coward. I can't help but love how punchable he is.
One moment, there's one more. Take her too. She's a defector. I will be compassionate with you and try to have you assigned to the Siberian Philharmonic Orchestra. They're quite good, despite their bourgeois repertoire.
What a wanker!
John Rhys Davies stars as Pushkin, and even though he's not on the screen that much, he brings a real presence.
You are professional. You do not kill without reason.
2 of our men are dead. Koskov's named you.
Who do you believe? Koskov? Or me?
If I trusted Koskov, we wouldn't be talking. But as long as you're alive, we'll never know what he's up to.
Then I must die.
He comes across convincingly as an authoritative figure, and I love this line he says after Bond assassinates him.
It's the first time I've ever been grateful that James Bond is a good shot.
This was originally going to revolve around General Gogol, but the actor was too sick for the role, so he ended up making his final appearance right at the end. And it's a shame, as this was a recurring character that was humble, no nonsense, and even though he was on the side opposing us, Gogol portrayed him very realistically and very dignified. He was one of the best recurring characters in the franchise, and continues to be a favourite even today. The Aston Martin makes a return, and Art Malik makes a likely ally, even though he does kind of leave Bond to die, but he comes back, so he's cool. He's cool. The car chase where Bond is trying to help Kara escape the authorities. It's fun. Nothing we haven't seen before, but the laser cut in the squad car got a laugh out of me, and we also get Bond and Kara using a cello case as a sled. But it doesn't top that first chase with Bond hanging off an army truck trying to take down the guy who killed off his agents. The title theme by Aha is awesome, as is the rest of the soundtrack by The Pretenders that almost became the title theme but was kept in anyway, even incorporated into the music score, which actually kicks ass. And Dalton's relationship with Q, well, is a little bit more different. Q seems more optimistic around Bond, even showing to be less of a curmudgeon than usual. He even plays pranks on his workers like an arsehole, and I love him for it.
All right, sit down and make yourself comfortable.
They do have better chemistry and License to Kill, but I do like this change of pace for the chalk and cheese pair. As with Dalton's Bond relationship with Moneypenny, played this time by Carolyn Bliss, there's no real spark, and it's a shame Bliss never clicked in the role despite her best efforts. The late Joe Don Baker is also a weak villain as Brad Whitaker. He's just a one-note nutjob who never really does anything to come across as a genuine threat. Thankfully, Baker would return to the franchise as a much more interesting Jack Wade. But it's Andreas the guy from Die Hard, who makes a better villain. Yeah, he's a henchman, but he's smart, resourceful, ruthless, can blend into a crowd, and delivers one of the most brutal deaths in the franchise. The scenes in Afghanistan do slow the movie down despite the beautiful cinematography, as we also have this plot evolving Rotopian convoluting the story, but not too much, as it does lead to an awesome climax with Bond and Necros hanging out the back of a cargo plane. But as much as I love Dalton in the role, he does lack the personality Roger Moore had for the most comedic parts. Even in the scene where he's charming random women, he feels off, which makes it more obvious that the original script was tailored more to Roger Moore if he had continued, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this was a step up from A View to a Kill. It brought Bond back to its darker roots while even humanising him a bit more, and while Dalton lacked the same charm as Connery and Moore, even Brosnan, he more than makes up for it in the brutality of the character. And the film itself delivers enough action, suspense and romance to thrill the living daylights out of you. So that was The Living Daylights. Next up, License to Kill.